Alrighty, welcome back to the Minnesota Built YouTube. We got Christian here tonight. So I have it on my TikTok. I actually had a valve stem seal go bad on my truck tire, and I got new tires on my truck. And anyway, I was driving here, and I was like, man, it feels weird. So we get here, and then we look at it, and mind you, I just had this tire fixed with the valve stem seal. I know you guys can't see me right now, but you got a light?
Yeah.
Absolutely shredded the fucking tire. So that's cool. I mean, it's not like it was a literally brand new fucking tire.
What's up, room? What's up? Brand new fucking tire too.
So cool. Anyway. Fucking Christ. We're gonna ignore that for right now. I have a spare right here. I know you guys can't see it. When I first aired up that spare tire, it was leaking, but now it's holding air, so I'm just gonna throw it on and call it a day. Oh, okay, so Christian's here. We're pulling out the J swap right now. We went and did a couple little tiny pulls in it just before we pulled it out. Got the Del Sol. If everything goes right, we might bolt it in tonight. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So my night couldn't be getting, worse, so that's cool. But Christian did some cleaning on the Del Sol. It's looking pretty good. Fresh bay. The only thing I'm worried about is I think that traction bar is going to get in the way of the header because of, you can't really see it, but it's kind of whatever. So anyways, I'm going to throw you guys on a time lapse. We're going to rip out this motor. I'm going to try not to yell because I'm now mad about my tire being blown. I was driving around the circle. I'm like, man, it just doesn't feel right. Like, even when we were coming into town, I was like, something feels weird. And it's weird. You can't feel it in the truck that it's lower, even though that the fucking thing is flat and blown out. So, who fucking knows?
You used to right from here, they can smell burnt tire.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, I'm going to throw you guys on time lapse. We're going to rip out this piece of shit to put it in this piece of shit. And I'm going to junk everything, including my truck. Thanks, bye. Alrighty, so here we are a couple days later from when me and Christian came over and we got the motor put into the J series. So tonight Ryan's actually gonna stop over. He's somebody that hasn't been on the channel yet. He's a good friend of mine from work. But tonight the goals are we are gonna try to get the wiring harness all ran and connected up and finished. I want to run it, but like the clearance was so tight I actually had to remove the oil filter housing and VTEC solenoid, and I don't think I have another filter to put on here, so I might not be able to start it tonight, which was my goal. But we are gonna get rid of these fuel lines because they're not even that nice, so we're gonna look into that. Well, I might be able to use this one. I don't know if I want to though, or use the return, but I gotta disconnect it down there and build. Actually, I don't even have to build it. All you gotta do is connect this one to that filter housing right there, and that should work. And then the return, they have an adapter fitting on there with a flare connector, so I actually have to use the -6. So I gotta build a new line, but I think I'm out of connectors down here for my FPR, so I might have to order one of those. Nonetheless, we are gonna try to get this car more situated and ready to run hopefully tomorrow. I'll run to the store and get the filter, and it has oil in it, but I'll get oil. Actually, Christian might have drained the engine oil out of it, so I might have to get oil too. But nonetheless, guys, I'm gonna throw you on the time lapse, so we're just gonna kind of dive into this. And like I said, I don't know if the dash harness is gonna work inside the car because it's a full standalone custom relay and fuse box. I might actually, the Integra sitting outside, I might actually rip the whole entire dash harness and cabin harness out of the Integra and transplant it into the Del Sol. I would have to use the DC cluster, not a big deal. Maybe even swap the dash over, I don't know. Probably won't fit, but we can see. But nonetheless, if this doesn't work, I am gonna have to get some sort of a dash harness. If there's any of you that has a Del Sol dash harness, let me know. I might need that. So, and the fuse box. But that's really, we're just gonna have to, like, we're just gonna dive into it and see if it'll work or not. If it doesn't work, we know what the game plan is. No matter what, it's gonna run in this car. We're not giving up on that part of it. It's just gonna be a lot more work. So nonetheless, we're going on the time lapse. Let's get to it. right, boy. We wish. We wish. Anyways, guys, what I was trying to say in the last clip, it's been a couple hours later now, but I redid all this wiring, redid the positive. Like I said, I'm gonna build a new battery box here to hold a good battery. Did the ground, got rid of all this extra bullshit, redid all the wiring. I know it looks funky, but it's way nicer than what it was. So my alternator wires figured out, my starter wires figured out, so everything should work factory with what they had in there. It's not factory, but what he did, whatever guy built this car. Got my throttle body on, got my wires all cleaned up. So Dare Bear came over, we just ran, we got some oil in the filter, so we're gonna bolt on the housing, and then we're gonna well, we might actually try to start it.
I think we should.
Yeah, we're gonna plug it into the car and see if it'll run.
I mean,
it might just fry the ECU right away too. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah. We'll plug in the factory ECU and see if it starts on fire, and then we'll plug it in.
If it at least cranks it.
Yeah,
if it cranks it, then we know we did something right.
Then we'll plug in the AEM. So, I'm not even gonna throw you guys on a time lapse. I already got a good hour and a half, 2 hours of footage. I got my fuel lines all done. Got those all figured out. I gotta do the rear mount. Got the ground wire for the tranny on. So we're just gonna kind of break into it. I gotta put the filter housing on it, oil filter, fill it up with oil, and then we're gonna plug in the harness, put the battery on it, see if it does anything. All right, welcome back to Minnesota Built. As you can see, we got quite a bit farther. So everything is plumbed for the turbo, the feed line, the drain line. I got the exhaust on, which I will be modifying to fit through that hole in the stock hood or the carbon hood. This thing has the fuel pump constantly runs, so if we plug the battery in, we got pressure, and we got no leaks going on out of the fuel lines I did. I do have the ECU plugged in, but the switched ignition doesn't work. So like if I turn the key, it doesn't try to start, and that's because of the custom harness. So I got a dingleberry with that. Might put a push button in. I might have to do that. Anyway, what we're gonna do is attempt to start this. So I'm gonna pull the battery off, double check the oil. I've put 5 quarts in it, should be good. Has fuel, and we're gonna see if it runs, I guess. So I'll just leave you guys rolling. We're gonna see what happens. I got my fire extinguisher in case. So had the battery terminal on. There's nothing hot. All my ground feels good. I don't see smoke anywhere. I have to jump the starter manually to make it run, which sucks, but that's what I got to do. So since the key isn't switched to the fuel pump and everything, it should still kill the car with the key off. If they ran the power wire to the ECU through the key switched ignition. I don't even have the rear motor mount in, so like it's kind of, you know, this is just the very first test fire, just to see how it goes. This is the j35 with the 6-speed LSD tranny. I gotta plug this line quick. I gotta find something and plug that quick. See if I can get this to fit. Alright, again, super temporary. This has a Willwood brake delete, so I used to run the vacuum line here for the brake booster, but since we don't have one, I don't need it. So I'll have to get a proper plug. So I am going to, I gotta make a signal wire quick to jump that. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna cut you guys. When I get back, we're gonna try to start this. All right, so I just made a real quick signal jumper to jump it because the key doesn't work because this doesn't have the factory harness, so I have to make that. Or get a push button and make that. I just tested the fuel pump and the ECU. So if the power's on, because the pump primes constantly, if I shut the key off, it kills the power. If there's a disconnect in the back, that kills the power. So we're gonna plug this guy in. Now all I gotta do is feed this 12 volts and the motor theoretically should start. So let's see what happens. I really got to put that rear mount in, especially because that helps support this because of a bolt. I don't know why it's not running though. So, something's up where the ECU is not running or the ECU isn't turning on. I should really bolt that motor mount in too. I might do that quick, at least with a couple of bolts. But I'll get back to you guys. We're going to figure out why it's not running. All right, I didn't really do anything. I didn't find out anything. I did put the T-bracket in, just a couple bolts, nothing serious. We're going to try it again, and I don't think it's going to work. I don't think the ECU is getting power, and I don't have a way to test that right now. But we'll see if for some God miracle something changed. I was really hoping to get this running tonight, but if I don't, I understand. It's okay. Well, the starter doesn't like that. The starter's on its way out. I gotta figure out what's going on. I gotta figure out what's going on with the ECU. It clearly must not be getting power. The fuel pump is standalone, so the fuel pump's gonna run no matter what, but I don't think that the ECU is getting power to run. Pretty sure that's what the issue is. Actually, I'm like 90% sure because that's the only plausible thing I can think of right now. Everything else is intact, plugged in. Theoretically, it should run. So, unless the ECU isn't getting power, which makes sense. I'm gonna look into it more and see what I can find out. All right, so my fat ass just pushed this in here. That was fun. You guys saw that the J series wouldn't run, so the harness is just shit. Their custom harness. I don't know how it worked before. Must have been just right for how it should be. I'm not cutting it. So I pulled the dash out, held in my 2 bolts. Here's what we're working with. So, not that I want to do this, but we're going to go through the painstaking task of pulling apart the Integra harness, dash harness, engine harness. Well, it doesn't have an engine harness, but body harness, tail light harness, ignition. Every last wire in this car is going in the Del Sol. So, definitely not something I wanted to do. Something that needs to be done. Whoever worked on this just doesn't. We're not going to get into it, but you guys know I hate wiring. I hate crackhead wiring. Hate it. So yeah, basically we're pulling everything apart, putting it in the Del Sol. I'm trying to debate if I want to put the Integra dash in here or not, since I got to use the Integra cluster, since I'm not going to try to repin it for the dull sole. I don't know what I'm going to do. So maybe I'll take some measurements and see if it'll bolt in. I gotta get it to bolt in. Luckily, I'm not dealing with heater and none of that bullshit, so I can ignore all those wires and stuff, since I only really need the main body harness and fuse box and all that good jazz. So this is gonna wrap up the video. It should be a good 20, 30, 35 minute video. Go on my TikTok, but I love y'all. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the support you guys give us. As much as I wanted this to run tonight for you guys, it's just not gonna happen. So it's gonna be at least another week, but damn near almost had it done. So thanks for watching. Keep grinding.